chase them all away. Little children in the street, dying every day. We all look for something we can never find, and we all need peace of mind. Lonely wretch on the street, looking for love. $20 beneath the sheets. Is this all she thinks of? We all look for something.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, Timmy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, here I am, Mark. 5. Can't believe the time is flying, but I think we got a pretty good show tonight.
I'm just trying to fix something here so that people can
Sure.
post on the Facebook page.
On the Facebook page, yep.
Yeah, it's really funny how it works, right? So when you do the show, Facebook, just the craziest people, right? They don't let you just put the show up and make it public. You have to
Right.
put the show up, and it's got to be private. And then you got to go into the settings while the show's playing,
Right,
and
make
edit
it public.
it so that it's public. So
Right.
let me
In the
edit
meantime,
it.
so we're sitting there like a couple dodo birds, waiting for
Well, ain't got nothing to do with us. We are dodo birds. But
Yeah.
hey, Timmy, listen, we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yep.
And, the last couple months we've talked about the president. We've talked about the governor. We've talked about the crazy shit that goes on in New York State.
Yeah.
And, but boy, have we been bombarded with Cohoes people
Oh,
who
yeah.
are calling us and texting us and sending emails to us. And, there's a common thread. And
Mm-hmm.
that common thread is, hey, Keeler is a dodo bird, and this guy don't know shit, and the city's falling apart.
Yeah, I'm
I
getting
only
a lot
been-
of that myself.
I've only been saying it for a couple months, but I want to just jump onto one thing really quick, and then people understand what I'm trying to say. Let me add this little thing to the show here.
Yep.
Hang on one second. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Cohoes Mayor Sean Morris calls it the biggest tragedy he's seen in the city's history.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10.
Before you knew it, in a matter of minutes, the whole front, the top front, was already in flames.
The fire was so intense, it melted equipment inside one of his buildings several yards away.
To say a roaring blaze is an understatement.
So you remember that, Timmy, right?
Yeah,
5
back in
years ago
2017.
today, November.
Right. So the reason I want to talk about that is because Cohoes has and probably always will be considered an old mill town. And one of the things that happen in old mill towns with balloon construction and, buildings so packed together is that we've had some of the worst fires, the biggest fires, not only in the Capital District, but in the state of New York, right?
Yeah.
We were known for some of the greatest fires. I fought one when I was a fireman. I tried to help fight one when I was the mayor. But the reason I want to talk about this major fire is because our city, led by King Keeler, which is crumbling around us,
Yeah.
and he has put into place a commissioner of DPW, who I personally don't believe has the qualifications to be the commissioner. He certainly doesn't have the wherewithal. He doesn't understand that he works for the people of Cohoes. He's got a poor attitude. He knows nothing other than digging ditches and leveling out land. Matter of fact, he did work for the mayor before he was the mayor. The mayor was building that compound up there. Steve Hennessy was the one who was leveling out all of the dirt, right?
Yeah, he was prepping, doing the groundwork prep. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember.
His
and then
business was business right across the street.
I would stop over to the to see Steve and talk to him. At one time, we were friends.
Yeah, he was a good guy at one time. Then
yeah,
once he got this job, he's been a bad guy.
Well, I remember him saying to me, this guy's a piece of shit, man. He doesn't want to pay me. I done all this work. He's always trying to, jack me down for less money. This is bullshit. And
Mm-hmm. Well, Sean, you just froze up. Maybe you think I froze up. So basically, until Sean unfreezes
I don't
there
know.
you are.
We lost my camera. I've been having this terrible thing. I went out and spent $2,800
Yeah,
new computer for the program, right?
yeah,
And this son of a bitch, all of a sudden, there's an upgrade. I upgraded, and it stops my external camera from operating,
wow.
and it won't let it run. And it's saying, a bunch of bullshit. I don't know anything. I'm lucky I can say Microsoft.
Well, this is a great opportunity for you, Sean, to blame Finn.
No,
Okay.
Finn didn't eat shit. This is the stupid ass camera. All I
Yeah,
had to do was reach over, touch the wire, and then the camera goes off. But
yeah,
anyway, so I often wonder, and I have no idea. I have no factual, way to know this, but I often say, Steve, I want to say, Steve, did he ever pay you with money? Or did he pay
yeah,
you with a job as commissioner of DPW for 90,000 a year? Because you
yeah,
went from calling the guy a bozo and a moron
yeah.
to
He
being the
did.
DPW commissioner with no skills. He has
Mm-hmm.
no skills at all. He spent his
Mm-hmm.
life driving a dump truck, and he spent his life, digging ditches, and he did good, and he does
Yeah.
both of those things good. But here's why I bring it up. Take a look at this, people. You see what this is?
On Remsen Street, right smack there, okay?
Right across the street, in
Right.
the middle of the downtown,
Yeah.
in the same time of the year that we, lost. It's a couple months past, but that was in November. But
Yeah.
we are a city that has a downtown that is. It says we're both. Oh no, that's because we put up a. John, you didn't see those pictures? Those pictures pop up.
Well,
With it
what
on.
happened is basically you got no fire hydrant there because it's been sheared off. And
So
it's
it gets
been
hit
that
by
way
a
for three
car.
weeks.
It gets hit by a car,
Right.
and Steve Hennessy tells people, "Oh, that's a minor priority. That's not a major priority."
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
what
low
is a
priority.
major priority in your city, Steve? Are you
Hmm.
telling me that a fire hydrant in the middle of the downtown that is burned down twice isn't a high priority for you? Is
Right.
that just because you are clueless about what your job is? Is it because you're clueless about what DP does for this city? Do you just think they throw garbage and you can scream at them all the time and treat them like
Yeah.
shit and write them up because they don't treat you like the fucking king you think you are? I
Yeah.
mean, what is important to you?
Now I was down there, Sean, and looked around, right? I didn't see another fire hydrant nearby to service that area right there, okay? They'd probably have to run a few hundred feet of a hose,
Well, it's
okay?
just problematic. Fire hydrants are put into place strategically,
Yes.
above my pay grade. I didn't put them in, and I know
Hmm.
there's engineers, and they look at how much pressure you have and how far apart they are, and to think that the DPW commissioner, where's Kenny Radcliffe when you need the guy, right? Because he would
Yeah.
have had it fixed in a week. I'd have said, Ken, the fire hydrant got knocked down. I got an email or I got a call or I drove by, I seen it laying on the ground, or one of the guys seen it. That needs to be fixed ASAP. I know it's cold. I know it's hard to
Yeah.
dig. I know it's a problem. But that's truthfully all you have to do. I don't even think they have to dig it up. I think they just put a new top on, unless it broke the pipe, right? Is the
Well,
pipe
if you
out?
look at the image, you could see like a stem, and I think they probably connected that stem. I could be wrong. I imagine it'd be a safety thing that if you did hit a fire, it would just snap it off the top.
Yeah,
But
it isn't like you got to dig up all the streets and everything.
right,
My understanding is, there's the fire hydrant that people see, there's a
yeah,
black part that goes down. There's a process to it. But
yeah,
regardless, I'm sorry it's cold out, but it needs to be fixed because if there's a fire tomorrow on that street and everybody's house burns down or somebody dies, what do you say, Steve? Do you say, "Oh, geez, we were too busy. I had them doing something else"? Like what?
well,
What
well,
were they doing? Because they ain't fixing potholes. They ain't picking up shit. They ain't picking up garbage all over the place. You got these poor guys running around like chickens with their head cut off. They are the most important people in this city, bar none. They make this city rock and roll 24/7, right?
Yeah, and that fire hydrant, just to top on it, if you get a big fire and your place burns down, insurance company's going to say, "What? The fire hydrant wasn't working? I'm not paying you. You're not
I don't
getting
know if
paid."
they would do
And
that.
then you sue the city too.
I don't know if they would
It's
do that.
insane.
But what I do know is to
Yeah,
say that it's low priority
yeah.
is just beyond belief. What
There's
are they?
one on my right, and there's one up on Simmons Avenue around the 150, 140 area, and they got a garbage bag over it.
Listen, I'm not going to say that there's fire hydrants
Yeah.
located in certain places, right?
Hmm.
That may be low priority,
Yeah.
right? There's no houses around it, or there's one close enough by, or there's the fire load is not as big, right? I think you could get away with it for a few weeks while you try to figure out how you get to it because you can only do so. You're talking about the middle of your
Hmm.
downtown.
Yeah.
The thing that should remind you how important it is the freaking fire was right across the street that burned down half the city. There is a shear pin connected. There you
Yeah,
go.
Rich Gagnon says there's a shear. So that probably what happened is the shear bin got snapped too, right?
Yeah, so
Right.
how hard is it to
Yeah,
fix?
yeah,
But the point is that the commissioner of DPW, who to me seems to spend most of his time attacking old people who work for him, treating the workers like shit,
yeah,
never getting nothing done. Tell me, somebody watching this show, there's hundreds and hundreds of you watching this show right now. Somebody tell me, please, what is being done in the city? Are they filling the potholes? I don't think so because 150 emails that I got show potholes that could swallow your car. I put a
yeah,
little thing on Facebook saying, hey, if you want to see a light show, go down Columbia Street at night because the
yeah,
cars are going all over here like this, trying not to hit the freaking
yeah,
pothole because they're not
yeah,
little ones. They take your tires off.
yeah,
And if they swerve too much, they'll end up in that stupid flower beds that they have, right? So they're
yeah,
not filling potholes. They're not picking up garbage all over the streets because everybody's complaining about
yeah,
how dirty it is, right?
yeah,
They're not working on any type of infrastructure that's going to help development and bring more taxes into our city. No, they're worried about picking on Al Paul, and they're worried about writing up the people from this and writing up the people for that, or because I don't see them doing shit. Except I watch them when they work. They work hard when they're out throwing trash, picking up the trash. When I say trash, I'm talking about the trash cans. The garbage men are
yeah.
working their asses off.
Yeah, the DPW workers themselves, they're hardworking guys.
No doubt.
It's the breakdown is the management, the decision making. Sean, you cannot leave a fire hydrant broken like that for 3 damn
Not in the
weeks.
middle of your downtown and
Right,
tell people that it's not a high priority.
right.
I'm just trying to ask, what is high priority?
And you know how we knew about this, Sean? Where viewers send us messages, okay? And then we go on, check it on out, vet it on out, find out, yep, they're absolutely right. We get the feedback, and here we are doing a show about it.
Timmy, let
You
me
know,
ask you this question.
right. I put a thing out about no cone on a big storm. It was a what do you call it? Catch basin on Berkeley and North Second Street. And as soon as I put it on Outchart, the next day they already got a barrel on it, and the barrel's been missing for weeks. So
Well, the
we
barrels,
know that they're watching us.
Timmy, the barrels is they have no plan. They
Hmm.
don't under Keeler is incompetent. Okay. He was a police officer. He was a state trooper. Outside of that, what did he ever do to give him any skills on understanding how to run a municipality? Okay? None. He's a terrible politician. He's an invert. You can't communicate with him. He walks with his head down, looking at his feet. He walks past potholes that if he fell in would swallow him up. And he just walks around with his head in the clouds.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in the world, if you're the mayor of the city, that you're not putting in 16, 17 hours a day. You should be up in the morning driving around the whole city yourself, taking notes about things that you see that bother you, so you know they
Yeah.
bother the people that live in the city,
Yeah.
right? And those things be addressed in your morning meeting with the department heads, okay? And then you say, look at here's a list of things that I personally think need to be fixed ASAP because they're problematic. You work for the best interest of the people. And I
Yeah.
always said, always will say, that the mayor's job is to make sure that the problem that is broken is fixed, but the fix doesn't cause a bigger problem, right?
Hmm.
Or inconvenience them worse.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to put a little thought into it. Like these people, they don't give a shit. If there's, I had a water break on James Street, on the top of James Street. So the
Hmm.
only way to get to Grandview Avenue, to get to certain parts of Hilltop, Grandview Terrace, even some of the Western Avenue, is that you go up James Street. If you can't get up James Street, you have to go all the way back up to the Stewarts at the top of Columbia and
Western Avenue.
go all the way to Western Avenue, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Here's the kind of competence that Steve Hennessy has. He's there. He's never not there, watching him like a hawk.
Hmm.
I'm driving, and I get to the top of James Street, and they got it blocked off. And
Yeah.
I
You
said to the guy, "Where the fuck is the sign? Is it? Why don't you have a sign at the bottom of Columbia Street saying use the Western
right.
Ave?
And we
And why don't
talked
you
about that before.
why
Okay.
don't you have
Where
a
they
sign on
put
Western
these
Ave?"
barriers and road closed signs. Okay. They don't put it in a strategic good place. You get to where you needed to go, and you find you just got to turn around and go back because
Yeah.
they
So
could have
I had,
put the barrier further down.
but it's
Yeah.
not like you're saying I'm not inconveniencing anybody. It's just a one
Yeah.
street over. You're
Yeah.
you're taking me 20 minutes back to the top.
Yeah.
You could have put a sign that said James Street detour, and anybody
Yeah.
coming down Columbia would go down. They would
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
they can't even do the basics.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Keeler's the one in charge, man. I will tell you this: if you want to get a cup of coffee and take a nice ride and not hit a pothole and feel like you're in Beverly Hills, drive down his street on Western Avenue. If you want to have a shirt covered in hot coffee, hot chocolate, or some of your food as you're heading to work, just drive down Columbia Street or Saratoga Street or Manor Avenue or Main Street, Congress Street, White Street, and the list goes on because they're a wreck. And I don't want to hear the bullshit. It's winter. I get it's winter. But
Mm.
guess what? We fill potholes in the winter. We may
Yeah.
not fill little tiny ones, but when they suck up your car,
Yeah.
we
You could
found a
do
way to fill
something.
them or we covered them. We did something to make sure. Because once again, the job of the mayor is to ensure that the people that live in this city are not inconvenienced by these things. It isn't just to be the mayor and take $20,000 raises and give your daughter a $20,000 raise and give your brother in law a $20,000 raise. It's actually to do something to make sure the people of the city can have a great city, a comfortable life, and they don't have to worry about losing their tire going down the street. That's my rant, Tim.
Well, I got a message from actually Tony Severia, which I shared information with you. It took them about 3 years, but they brought in a private contractor to repair that sinkhole between Hamilton and J Street. And what did I tell you? I thought it was. I said it was probably a broken sewer line, and as water was going through or whatever through that sewer line, it was sucking the dirt down, and that's what creates your sinkhole. Turns out we were right. And not only did they dig down a private contractor and find that that pipe was broken, but it was broken in many places. Okay. So because we put it out on the show, and we kept pressuring them. They finally got around to doing it, but they brought in a private contractor to do that. So we are getting certain things done. I posted some photos on Simmons Avenue. You got a fire hydrant there that's covered with a plastic garbage bag because the word is it doesn't work. Okay, so another residential area with a fire hydrant. Okay, not working. And where is the people to go check that thing on out and say, we got to check this and see if it's working or
But
not?
Tim,
You know?
there has to be in this city, and believe me, I was a stick
Hmm.
I was a firefighter. There's
Yeah,
got to be a coordinated effort to
yeah,
communicate.
yeah,
When a fire hydrant in the middle of your downtown, where you lost 15 buildings at one
yeah.
point, had some of the major fires in the capital region, maybe in New York State.
Sure. Yeah,
When that happens, every fire hydrant needs to be communicated to the fire department that the fire
they
hydrant
should know, right?
that
So
they
they're going to pull. They're,
well,
you're going to have a fire down there. They're going to pull on up there looking for the fire hydrant. They're going
correct.
to turn around and say, "Hey, it's gone."
So there's a coordinated way of doing it, right? Every
Yeah,
fire hydrant, even water breaks should be
yeah,
reported to the fire department. We have a water break. You know what? You may have no pressure.
yeah,
They don't even. This son of a bitch, Steve, he'll block off roads and never notify the fire department. I don't know what they do with the police, but never know
yeah.
the fire department that they got a whole section blocked off. So can you imagine if the fire department is driving up James Street and they got to get to Grandview Avenue, Grandview Terrace, or
Right, and
wherever?
it's blocked, and they got to stop and go all the
Well,
way
they can't.
around.
It isn't like you can go. Oh, I can go around the hole that takes up the whole street. You would
Yeah,
have to go back down and go all the way around.
yeah,
They may be able to get to
exactly.
Jefferson and make that turn, but if I wasn't mistaken, it was past that too. So there was no route to go around.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
you have to have a coordinated effort. But my point again, why is it not a high priority? What is a
yeah,
high priority? We know that the water filtration plant must not be a high priority. We
hmm,
must know that drinking water that had sewage or whatever else is coming out of the river seep into the clean water, although they'll deny it. We know
yeah.
that you had a you had a huge pipe.
30-inch pipe, about, yeah,
It was a big one. I
yeah,
forget how big it was, but it pumped out about 300 gallons a minute.
yeah. And they're saying there's only a couple hundred gallons. Not
And they
true.
tried to say there was only a couple hundred gallons. What did the guy get there in a half a second? What did he
Yeah,
fly?
yeah.
Was he sleeping at the firehouse? It's
Hmm.
impossible. It is impossible. There was thousands and thousands of gallons of water that filled that facility. It's only got a
Hmm.
little wall this big between the floor and the filter beds that have the clean water. Now, the best way to find out that they lied, A, is this. The mayor of the city refuses to go on the news to tell the residents of Cohoes either A, we have a problem, or B, don't worry, we don't have a problem. He
Right,
instead says, I decline to go on. What kind of mayor declines to go
right.
on to give an interview so his people understand what the hell's going on? Because here we are weeks later, just finding out. A, if anybody believes that Steve Hennessy had a bacteria test done by the time that reporter came to do the
Mm.
report, we know that he called the next day after the reporter came.
Yeah,
We know, right?
yeah,
We know because the people that do the test are private. They're not a city entity. And we know that you can't call them at night. I know, I was the mayor. You're not calling them at night saying, hey, can you do this
yeah,
test in 10 minutes? So he lied to the public when he said, oh, we had a bacteria test done. Bullshit.
yeah.
Bullshit.
Right, and there's a
He also,
disc, okay? Size, it's like a record, right? It's called a turbidity and chlorine chart, okay? And that records the quality of the water. And on January 22, there was a spike, okay? A big
so,
spike, okay? I'm trying to get a copy of that chart by Freedom of Information. Hennessy's fighting me all the way on it, so I got it to the appeals officer, which is Corporation Counsel. Not only that, Sean, is they have cameras in that water plant too, inside and out. And I got a FOIL in for them. And I bet you we're going to find out that none of those cameras are working and
well, then all of
monitoring
a
the water
sudden
plant.
they ain't working.
Right.
That's for sure. They work when they want to write up a guy with 30 years on the job because
Yeah.
he didn't cut the grass fast enough.
Yeah.
Okay. But Steve Hennessy, if he lied, should be fired.
Hmm.
And there should be some type of investigation into whether people of Cohoes and Waterford drank water that was dirty. Now, I'm not saying that there was 40 tons of sludge that went in our
Sludge. Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
It's not the point. The point is, if it happened, you should have
Yep.
said, maybe we should boil the water. There was a small spill. Chances are it can't do anything to
Just give out an
anybody.
advisory,
Yes,
basically. That's
just
all you
let
do.
people know, because instead it blows up into what this is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we have a city council. Now, I know the city council doesn't, in a strong form, mayor government doesn't have like these ultimate powers, right? Their
Yeah.
powers in the budget. But where's Adam? Where is Adam when he
Big.
says, I mean, he's the president of the city council. I love the guy,
Yeah.
but he don't have no balls. Because what he should be saying is, Mayor, I want you to do the press conference. If not, I'm going to do one. And I'm
Get
going
the
to come out and,
facts.
well, he can walk up to the water filtration plant. He's part of the city council.
Yeah.
He could say, what the hell happened here? He could look at the disc. He could look at the reports. And he could say, if you don't go out and tell your people, I'm going to. Because
House is
guess
right
who?
in the corner
Well, it's not
from the
only is he
plant.
right in the corner, he's second in command if something happens to Dodo Bird.
Yeah. And then and then you got VP Higgins, who he was aware of it. Okay, but it's not his call to basically get ahead of the council president. So he tries
This is
not to,
all.
but it
These
still
are all.
boils down to he was the public safety chair for the council, and he should have been informed as well. And if he
Listen,
was,
these are
why didn't
all.
they let people know?
Timmy, they're fucking. Listen, they're all individually elected. Any one of them can say, I'm going to put out a press release and tell the
Yeah.
people what happened. Everybody's got a freaking excuse. Oh, he's the
Yeah.
mayor. I'm this. There's
Yeah.
chain of shit. This ain't the military. You're all elected, and every single person should be listening to their city council person who should say to the mayor, they used to say it to me, if we can't do this, then we're going to have to do it. Go ahead. Because if the mayor's not going to have the balls to go out and tell his people that we had a spill because he wants everything to look perfect, okay?
Yeah.
Then where's Sean? Where's Adam?
Yeah. Well, because we don't have accountability, we only go after DPW workers. Okay.
Yeah, to try
That's
to
what
fire them or union bust.
you're
That's
right.
all we do.
You go after them. You go after the guys around out there that are doing all the hard work day in day on out. Okay, but it's the leadership. They never pay a bit of consequences for what's going on around here. You think they would hold somebody accountable once in a while? No.
You would just think that in a city where you've
Yeah.
taken the oath because you love your community, okay?
Yeah.
You take the oath, you tell them you're going to work your ass off. You're not going to work. You're not going to say, I need a $30,000 raise because I got to go to a press conference on a Saturday. This guy has been a train wreck. He's an embarrassment. He has done nothing for this city to move it forward, but everything to bring it down. There's people that tell me that I don't even like, and they don't like me. That's the worst mayor they've ever seen, and how bad that the city's gotten in 3.5 years, and how all the bars and restaurants and streets that we had booming are all struggling now. People can see. They're not stupid. Stand up and say, we had a water break. We may have had an accident, and we're going to tell you to boil your water until we can get it tested tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go to the media and lie. In the media, screw the media. Channel 10, what a shitty job they did.
Yeah, you'd think they would press them, but they got the information. In fact, I didn't call anybody. I had the media contact me. They wanted me to go on air live. Okay, to tell them what I know. I can only tell you what I know from the reports that came in. I don't have the details. And I said, look, I can't come on live there if they're concealing information from me. Would you?
Well,
No.
they certainly weren't providing a true reflection
What
of
happened? Yeah.
But that's par for course.
I mean, the
with this-
water is pouring out the doors, going down the sidewalks.
Listen,
Of
people,
inside
this is
the
your
facility.
this is your city. For the people in Cohoes, this is your city. We're bringing the news. You got to do something.
Yeah.
Send emails. Call your council people. Where's Adam Biggs? Call Adam. Ask him where the hell he's at. Because I'm
Well,
going to tell you something. as nice as he is, I don't think he's got the leadership skills to be the head of the council if he's not going to stand up and take the lead, if in fact the mayor is refusing to take the lead.
Mm.
Now, I
Well,
believe that he has the qualifications. I believe maybe it's just not in the guy. Maybe he doesn't have a confrontational bone and he doesn't want to step on any toes. So while you're not looking to step on Keeler's toes, people could be drinking shit water, right?
yeah, well, that's what's happened. So,
Timmy, I don't know. I have no idea. I think they're sabotaging our internet connection because we got the worst internet connection in fucking America. We try to have this podcast, and every 5 minutes we freeze.
and we don't freeze
so
from Florida, though.
I think they're trying to. I really think that they're probably behind my house right now trying to cut my wires.
Yeah, look and see if there's a dish aimed towards your house. You know,
Hey,
one of those
I think
dishes that you
it's.
see in
I think
NFL
you got
games
to. I
aimed
think
at
you
your
got to
house.
get. Truthfully, I think you got to get out of the basement.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm not in the basement.
Well, then you better get back in it because wherever the hell we are, we both suck. But hey, listen. So there's some other interesting news. One of the great things about having a podcast is that everybody calls us. There's more dodo snooches out there that want to tell us all the
Yeah,
stories. And I think it's great because people forever have
yeah,
always wanted to share the stories, but they've been afraid. And I'm not afraid. You're not afraid. So we're
no,
just going out there and telling it. So this may be something that's pretty interesting. Now it hasn't been public yet, Timmy, right?
that's
But
right.
it's but certainly as soon as these things start happening, the phone starts ringing, the emails start going out.
Yeah.
So let me just jump over here.
So what I can do, Sean, is I could kind of enlighten some people about a little bit of open meetings law and what's really going on here about
No, no, no,
how
no.
they're.
I don't want to talk about that right this
You
second.
don't want to talk about that, huh?
No, not
Why
yet,
not?
because I
Not
want to
yet.
talk about the fact
All right.
that Bill Keeler,
Mm-hmm.
squeaky clean, the
Yeah.
Keeler who is king of our city, can do anything he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Now, rumor has it that he will be cited for violating the Cohoes ethics law because he was campaigning on work hours.
Yeah.
What about that, Timmy? Huh?
So
Did Mr. Clean, who's done shit for this city, actually get caught campaigning for David Soares on work hours? You may know more than that. I know.
well, I'll tell you basically what it boils down to. This happened on March 28th of 2024, about between the hours of 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He was in City Hall and he was campaigning, asking people to sign petitions for um, David Soares. Okay. Now, if that wasn't enough, he was been sent. He also been sending Christmas cards of taxpayer money to David Soares. But that was a clear violation of the city's ethics code. In fact, it's even a violation of public officers law. It's misconduct,
It's
and
criminal.
yeah,
Did he
and
get?
okay, and not only that is that it's a violation even on the state law. You do not work on political activities during your working hours or during your work day. In the case of Mayor Keeler, he was clearly doing this on his during the work day, and the ethics board, they're not releasing their minutes of their meeting of February 19. They're stonewalling, okay? But the reports are they leaked it out that they found him guilty of doing this.
Well, they didn't leak it
Okay.
out. Somebody totally outside of the ethics commission leaked it
Yeah.
out to me. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Somebody
don't know.
leaked it on out. But I
Yeah.
was the complainant. I filed a complaint, provided the documents because they were given to me by others. So I submitted it and said, take a look at this. And the bottom line is, Sean, did you think they would let me know? Nope. I never got a call from them. Okay.
Well, so
No
here's the
call,
deal,
no
Tim.
email to tell me what their findings are.
You're getting it here first, bro. This is
That's right.
breaking news. This is breaking news. Truth, lies, and political bullshit. Found out before they even told the public. It hasn't been put in
Right.
their form yet. Hasn't been sent out. It's really just been a situation where our understanding from people who are familiar with this, the case,
Yep,
is
we're aware. Yep.
that yes, this man did
Mm-hmm.
get cited, however they cite you,
Yeah.
for a violation of the city code.
He violated the ethics code,
Yeah,
period. And you know what's
him
also
to be turned
he
over
was a
to the,
he was a chairman of the ethics board back in 2013. He knew this, yet he did it anyway because he thinks he's above the law. And this time he got caught.
well, he not only got caught. I just think that sometimes, like guys like him, think that he's untouchable. Hey, listen, everybody knows my story, right?
Yep.
And I, to this day, I still have people call me scumbag and piece of
Yep.
shit, and you did this and you did that. I know my truth. Everybody knows the truth. Okay, I was
Yep.
the first Donald Trump before Donald Trump. I had the Cuomo family coming after me for not kissing the ring, right? But
Mm-hmm.
this guy was, knighted as the Mr. Perfect, and
Teflon.
Mr.
Teflon
Perfect.
Bill.
Yeah, not only did Mr. Perfect get his ass caught, and there's an ethic violation that should be turned over to the district attorney as well. But I hear they're struggling because there's so much politics. Stanley Shesda.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Shesda is the head of the
He's
ethics.
a chairman.
Yes. Stanley Shesda has been a political hack for as long as I know. He's always had political jobs. He always carried the piss bucket for the king
Yep.
for as long as he's been involved in city government.
He was
And
doing all he could
somehow,
to bury this too.
well, of course, somehow the guy is on the commission. He donates to Kaler's campaign. He's a big
Yep.
Kaler fan. And I heard that he was involved in some arguments over whether or not the Christmas card issue. You
Yep.
can laugh in one sense and go, oh, it's Christmas cards. No, that's not the point. It's the taxpayers' money
Yep.
being spent on Billy Keeler's political Christmas cards
And
so
that's
that
going to
he
come
can
out down the road.
right, so that he can have his little relationship with people. Oh, that was nice. Billy sent me a Christmas card. No, every taxpayer sent you a Christmas card. They're not all Cohoes people.
Nope.
He didn't send one to every one of us in the city
Nope.
using our money.
He sent one to Stanley Shuzda.
He sent one to Stanley Shesda, okay, didn't he?
Yep.
He even sent one to that Claudia asshole from the island there when he
Claudia
had her
Calendar.
when
Well,
he
she
had her
wasn't on the
attacking.
right in 2023. She got one, but now that her job was over to get rid of Fife, she's off the list and went to the naughty list in 2024. So
I guess
she is not on the list.
the moral of the story is this guy's as dirty as they come.
Yep.
Somebody should check into his campaign funds. Somebody should check
Yeah.
into whether or not he borrowed money out of his campaign
Yep.
that he put in because he didn't claim a whole bunch of stuff. That's what I'm told. I don't know if it's true. I can't tell you factually.
Well, Randy at
But
the time said he was doing stuff like that.
well, rumor has it that he
Yeah,
had
that's what Randy rumored.
he loaned himself some money. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's true, so I
Yeah.
want to be very clear that there's
Yeah.
no
We don't know.
facts. There's no factual content coming
Yeah.
out of here. This is rumor that
Yeah.
he is he took a loan, put it into his campaign, and then Randy Knifka's got an uncle who owns a printing shop, and rumor has it that the printing shop did all this printing, and
Yeah.
he never paid for any of it, which is against the law.
Yep.
Okay, because you can only get so much in-kind contributions. There's also rumors that they flew in a band from Florida and had this big shing-ding somewhere where they bust people up, and they never claimed any of that. So there's some stuff about this dirty bastard that the FBI should really be coming. They shouldn't have been coming for me. They should have been coming for him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, look, we did get a scalp though just recently
One
there,
step at
and
a time.
right, and it's a matter of what will the Common Council do because they make the decision on what they do. They could censure, they could fine, they could remove from office.
You know
Look
me
at
and you
what they
have
did. Look at what they did to Al Paul and a lot of the DPW employees. If they called him as much as calling him a clown, 30 days off without pay. That's what this guy did to DPW. Where does he fall in with a violation of the ethics code, especially as a former chair, and he was campaigning during during his working hours in City Hall. Where does he fall in line? Okay, and being held to the same accountability and standard as our everyday DBW workers.
Well,
Where's
you
that?
and I know that we disagree that the council has any control over the mayor of the city. I still to this day don't believe that they can censor him or they can do anything to him.
Well, the
But what they,
language of the charter, and I'm going to tell you, the language says any municipal officer. That
well,
means
I'm just
he's a
telling you,
municipal, but they
I'm
use
going
the
to tell you
word
that I
any.
disagree because they came
But
after me
it's
and
in
they
the
couldn't.
code.
I'm telling you,
It may be,
I
yeah.
don't care what the code says. You can put in the code that, you can put anything you want. Doesn't make it legal.
Then I guess he didn't violate the ethics code if the
No, you
code
can
doesn't
buy the
matter.
ethics code is one thing, but then prosecuting the guy is another.
No,
And
they don't
everybody's
prosecute. They are responsible for the penalty.
yes.
He's not
So I'll disagree with you, but
exempt.
it doesn't matter. We'll disagree, and I'll
Okay.
tell you that if the council would do anything, they should give him an embarrassment in public and a tongue lashing and telling him they should first say we're not going to fund your Christmas card. See, this is what I mean about the council. They don't have a lot of power. They're really advocates for 90% of their career. The other 10%, they are part of the budget process, right? That's really where they have their power. And there's some legislative things that they don't have to do, but their power, I mean, holding somebody's feet to the fire, is they don't have to spend the money he wants to spend on all of his projects, right?
Well,
So if
what they do have say in a budget. They have say in ordinances and local laws and
yeah, but none of that
resolutions and stuff
matters if
like
you
that.
don't need them.
You
Like
know?
I just said to you, their power comes. Are you listening? Does your headphones work? What I
Yeah, they
said to you
do.
was their power is in the budget. It's very hard for local laws and those other things because there's always a few dodo birds on your side, and the ability to pass certain things or do certain requires a lot more people. 5 out of 6, right? We've argued about their fuzzy math when they were doing
Hmm.
so. Why that power may exist, the truth is being able to use it is a lot more difficult than the budget process. You agree with that? The budget process is their power.
Well, the budget process is their power, but see, here's the difference between you and I. You see
Yeah,
it
you're dumb
you
and I'm
see
not.
no, you see a lot of things as gray. I see a lot of things as it's black or it's white.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
and when I see something written in writing in the code where it says under penalties, any municipal officer can be censured, fined, or whatever as a penalty, you use the word any municipal officer, that's inclusive. Okay. That's how I read that. Will they do anything about it, Sean? I don't know.
to me.
Okay. But they got a problem now because this is going to end up getting dumped in their laps because it's not the ethics board's call they can only make a recommendation to the council. What's the council going to say? Well, he's the mayor, so he gets away with it. I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think he gets away with it. I think they should take it and send it down to the district attorney and ask
You
him if they
should do
violated
something
any
like
law.
that. Get an opinion from the state because
Yeah,
this is clearly a violation of your public officers law 74, and that's misconduct, Sean. When you
because I,
do
to
that,
be honest with you,
that's misconduct.
you're smarter than I called you dumber than me, but in these particular incidents, you're far smarter than I because I've never really even I wouldn't even know how to fill out a complaint. I just believe.
Yeah,
First of all, there is no such thing as black and white in politics.
yeah.
And number two,
I'll say that's true.
right, and number
But see, I'm an
two,
electronic troubleshooter, so to me, it's either works or it doesn't. That's how I do things.
and
It's either black or
I
white.
wish that would be the case, but as you
Mm.
know, it's not because
That's
the
not how
rea-
the world works, though.
right, and the
I get that.
reality is, Timmy, is that within that little scope of black and white, there's 500 different case laws that came out from everybody who's fought it from 100
Yeah.
different directions, and so nothing is what it appears. That charter is something that you look at, and it gives you
Hmm.
some kind of like boundaries or
Yeah.
direction.
So I guess the question is what now that they've come on out and they said, yeah, he did that, he did violate the city's so-called ethics code. What happens next?
Well,
That's what
yeah.
that
Well, if
goes.
history
Somebody's got
tells
to
us,
decide to do something with it.
if history
Yeah.
continues to tell us how the council in Cohoes acts, nothing will happen. We
That's
can't get
true.
them to fix a. We can't get them to come out and talk about whether our water was dirty or not.
Right.
We got nothing from them. I got an
So
itchy nose.
yeah. So
Uh,
what I wanted to tell you, and basically, is this okay? They had their meeting on February 12th. Okay, and I think they made that decision then. Okay, then they had another meeting a week later on February 19th. Now that's rare. I think that's probably the first time they ever met twice within the same month. And the tie up is this. Okay, as you know, it's a practice or policy of public bodies, and they are a public body, to want to approve or not approve minutes of their meetings. And so what I was telling him is, look at, I want the meetings from February 19th. I want to see those because I believe in there is where I'm going to find the text that says they found him guilty of violating the ethics code. But here they're saying, oh, we don't we got to wait until the next further meeting, which would probably be March 12th, before we can approve those. So then once you get to March 12th, then you another 2 week waiting period for them to publish, which brings you to almost the end of March. So the bottom line is what they do is they release a draft report, either a draft, not final or unofficial, okay, minutes of the meeting that took place February 19, and then we would be able to see what they decided as far as being transparent, right? So the people
well,
have a right to know this, but they're hearing about it on this podcast right now.
yeah, beforehand because we're not going
Yeah,
to take forever. We get
right.
the scoop. We share the scoop. Hey, maybe all this shit is wrong. I don't know. All I
Yeah,
know is that the inside scoop's telling us the guy got
and
caught
it's a reliable sources too.
and that he should something should be coming out soon, indicating that he was found to have violated the
Yeah,
city ethics.
yeah.
You look deep enough into this guy, you'll find out he's done a lot of violating ethics. At
And
least,
he got away with most of it, John. Like having Hennessy cleaning up his property. That was back in uh, 5 years ago. I still got a copy of his check where he paid for a fee for
a grading permit that he
grading.
didn't grade.
Grading, yet he says I didn't grade, but he paid the city fee for grading, and it says so right on the check. So his 5 year anniversary is coming up where he lied about that, saying I'm saving the city a lot of money. I'm bringing all this bad dirt on up here and dumping it and burying it over the edge. When they've been dumping it for years and years and years over off of Bleak Boulevard behind where Reservoir Number 2 is. Okay, just the guy lies. This is why I have no faith in this guy, Sean. He lies all the time. He lies so much. I don't think he knows he's lying.
Timmy, I used to say to the people, obviously it's just perception that everybody thinks that the Sean Morris who is the liar because he's the the street kid from Cohoes that became the
Yeah,
mayor. He's got to be lying because Keeler wouldn't lie. He's the clean cut. Let me tell you something. I don't need to lie. I don't give a shit if you like what I have to say. I've always
yeah,
said what I wanted to say. I didn't care if you like me. I don't need to be your friend. I don't care if you vote for me. I don't care if you call me an asshole. This guy's a
yeah,
liar, and I'm telling you the truth. I don't need to lie. Never did. I always tell people, go fuck yourself if you don't like what I have to say.
yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
at a public meeting and they start screaming at me, and I tell them, like me, don't vote for me. I don't give a shit.
So
Okay?
look,
This
yeah.
guy is a liar.
So Ginger is asking, is it
I don't
true
know.
if
I seen it.
DBW
No.
is moving down to Saratoga? Ginger, we don't know anything. And if you look at my page, Fifth Ward page, okay, I went and I posted all the council meeting minutes that they put out this year. They've not put out any minutes whatsoever. Nothing. Okay. The minutes are supposed to be put out 14 days after a meeting. And if they're not final, they're not official, they got to just list them as not final or unofficial. But this is why you're asking this question, Gina, is because they're not posting minutes so we don't know what to be able to tell you, okay?
Timmy,
And
let's
that's a
go.
problem. And it boils down to what you said, Sean. Communications. There is zero. And this is Adam Big's fault. He's the council president. Why ain't he saying, why ain't these minutes put here? You
Well,
know?
Adam, Sean, every one of them. Again, maybe for procedural reasons. there's
Mhm.
a process, right? You
Yeah.
elect the president of the council, who in turn will take the place of the mayor if something
Yep.
happens, right?
Yep.
It's all just like little procedural bullshit, but
Yeah.
they are individually elected, and every one of them has their own voice, and not any of them, and I'll even throw April out there. I haven't heard any of them say anything
Mhm.
about the water
Yeah.
situation. I haven't heard them say anything about a lot of situations.
Yeah.
So what happens is they all sit silent, and
Yeah.
this big bully here runs the show, the tight ship. Okay, I'd be saying to this guy if I was on the council, first of all, I wouldn't be voting for $20,000 raise for him. A 13, I would have said everybody got 3 or 4%. You can get 3 or 4%. Okay,
Yep.
and said to him, you know what? If you're not going to go out there and tell the people about water breaks, I'll just do it for you. Then you don't have to be the mayor. Put out a press release. Stand up. Say something. This guy ain't doing shit. And when the ship goes down, Timmy, all those council people go down as well.
Well, look at I sent an email to Adam regarding the leak about the mayor, right, being found guilty by this ethics board for this violation. I sent it to him on March 3. Okay, and he opened up that email and read it 11 minutes after I sent it to him. Right, what's today, March 5? I haven't heard a peep from him. Okay, 2 days. Okay, and I know because I sent it to him at 4:15 p.m. I put tracking software on it, so I know he opened it on up, and he did 11 minutes after. So I like Adam. Okay, but Adam, you're not doing the job. All right, and you need to really get better at this because it's just not happening. And it's going to be your call down the road what happens with this mess with him because he finally got caught.
Well, Timmy, it's funny that you say that because I can see them all home shitting in their pants. Oh no, what are we going to
Yeah,
do? Because
they
if
got to
you're
make a
right,
decision.
because if
Look at
you're
what
right and
right.
I'm wrong, which
Mhm.
is very possible, and the council does have the power to do something, what will they do?
Yeah, if you go by just what the text is in the ethics code itself, which was approved by the Common Council, and the language they used in there, okay, that means that you know they could do this to any employee, and they use the word any. So when in this case they used any municipal employee or officer. I'm not sure exactly,
Let's
but
just
look
say
at
you're right,
we're gonna
though.
have to see what happens. Okay, but bottom line is okay that that this ethics board, Sean, took 10 months to
No, Timmy,
figure
the
out
ethics.
something that a fifth grader could figure out in 10 minutes.
Once again, let's talk my favorite quote. If
Yeah,
you
I know
expect
it.
government to fix government,
You're right. You're
you're
right.
wrong. Okay, because the bottom line is you're not. You got Stanley Shesda is the head of this thing.
I know it.
Stanley's the head because he's a buddy of Keeler's.
Wait till I
Matter of fact,
see. Right. Wait till I get those minutes. And if I find out he voted when I know he donated to his campaign. He's on the Christmas card recipient list. Once I find that on out, if he voted for that, boom, I get. And I already explained to Adam and Higgins. I said, look at this guy should recuse himself. He shouldn't even be involved. Okay. And if he voted like that, doesn't have the common sense to recuse himself, he should be removed.
Timmy, he's already removed. He just doesn't know it. He's a. You know what? I like his
Yeah.
kids and stuff, so I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to say anything to. Yes, I do. The guy's a moron.
Yeah. No,
Period. If his
I
kids don't
just,
like me no more, then I won't have a beer with them no more.
yeah.
He's a moron. He has always been. I've had arguments with him, and I
Yeah.
thought to myself, he's dumber than any human being I've ever argued with. He'd go fight with me. I spent 28 years representing and working for unions. I got a degree in industrial labor relations. I used to eat, sleep, and drink unions. And I got this asshole trying to tell me how certain things work in a union. And I go, are you in a union? The last I knew, he was working for City Hall at the time. You can,
Mhm.
all he does is fight, argue, and
Yeah.
in 5 minutes you'll realize he's an incompetent fool. Let me
Yeah.
just go a little further to the people. So Timmy sends an email to the city clerk, basically going, "Hey, it's been 14 days. Where's the minutes?" And I would be sending it to the city clerk too, because at least for the city's purposes, right? Yeah,
She's
Mike
the
is good, John.
right.
Mike is a, Mike does a good
She's the
job.
custodian of records.
Right, for the city's purposes. Uh, Now, I don't know if they can say, well, we're not the city, we're only a quasi, so we're on, but that's fine. Even if she's not, she should respond back to you and say, hey, Mr. Thibodeau, thanks for the email. I do not keep the records. They are responsible for their own postings. Fine. Because other departments, when I was the mayor, would go on. We all had access to go in, upload, and do the minutes for their,
Hmm.
their respective of
Yeah.
boards. So if in fact she's not, she should have told you. So anyway, this Stanley Shesda writes you this big, long, most ridiculous, incompetent third grader letter.
It was caustic. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
basically saying, how dare you go to the city clerk? You're wasting tax dollars. You don't go to them. And by the way, we ripped one of your pages for your
They
complaint.
destroyed it in the copy
And
machine.
we can't, it's destroyed in the copy machine, and you got 5 days to send us a new one, or we're not going forward with your thing.
Yeah,
And
they're going to dismiss it.
don't bother the city clerk. My response
Right.
would be, I would be the fifth grader. You know what I would do, Timmy? I would put my hand like this on a piece of
Yeah.
paper, and I'd draw my outline, and I'd say, thanks for your letter, and I'd send that to him, because
Well,
I would be the fifth grader, because I wouldn't want to say it to his face, because I wouldn't want to be that mean to him.
well, so I'll tell you what I did. First off, okay, they are a quasi board, okay, but they use City Hall. They have a web page dedicated to their board. Their names are all on the city website. Okay, they are appointed by the Common Council. They are in it up to their neck, and the city clerk, like all other boards in the city of Cohoes, and they are a board working on behalf of the people, they got to provide the minutes 14 days, just like everybody else, whether it be them or the city clerk. But I have a right to ask the city clerk, she is the records management officer or custodian of the records. Hey, where's the minutes? It's been more than 14 days. And for this clown to turn around and say, you don't talk to her, you just come directly to me, I don't think so. I go to the records because if he doesn't give them to me, Sean, I put in a freedom of information request, right? And if he still doesn't give them me, who do I go to? The
So
Corporation
I would
Council.
say that again. I would say this. I am not sure whether the clerk is responsible for the boards.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, again, we'll disagree, because I don't believe she is. But
I,
anyway, if
well,
she is,
you're having a bad night, Sean.
well, again, I don't believe she is, because the board is separate from the city. Period. Just like when I was
No,
on
it's
the
not.
ethics, yes, it is. I was on the ethics board for the Albany County government, and the Albany County government had no control over us. They had to provide us with a website. We had our own secretary. We had our own place to put our own minutes. No, you could have called the clerk of Albany County Legislature, and he'd say, "Here's the number to the ethics department." And it really
Yeah.
was nothing more than an answer machine and a team of us that met every 30 days. So
Well, then, if
again,
this is all true, who's your custodian of records, and who do you
the
appeal to?
custodian of our custodian of records was elected by the board, and the name was submitted to the appropriate. I think you got to
Right,
send
but
it.
when you say, if you decide you want to, well, so right now the secretary of the ethics board is Melody Nato. I can
I'm not.
ask her for the minutes,
Yeah, I'm
but
not
if
saying
she
you.
doesn't want to give them to me, I got to be able to appeal beyond her and that board.
Yeah, well, maybe, but what I'm saying to you is that the
Yeah,
city may say to you, "We are not the custodian for that board." I'm not saying that you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. I get it.
Right? Because I think the
Yeah,
board is an independent board, elects their own people, carries out their own mission, supposed to do the same thing with open meetings law, supposed to
yeah,
have a custodian of records. Now they could say, "Hey, we provide the records to the clerk to upload them,"
yeah.
but
That's
all,
all.
but get back to what I was saying. If that's not the case, she should have just wrote you an email back, said, "Hey, Mr. Thibodeau, I'm not the custodian for the blah blah. Contact them." And Stanley Shesda, instead of writing you a third grade letter trying to like berate you because you have a question and he doesn't want to answer it because you're right and he's wrong, and he's probably got to say, "Oh, Timmy filed a complaint against my buddy, and I got to either say that he did something wrong or I got to look like the fool and be the one that voted and say he didn't." But the
Yeah.
bottom line is, the letter he should have wrote you was, "Hey, Mr. Thibodeau, thank you for trying to contact us about the minutes of the meeting. This is why we don't have them, blah, 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 blah." He should have been respectful, not writing you a letter like you're
Yeah.
like just, brought his daughter
Yeah.
home 3 hours late, right, on a Friday night.
Yeah.
You were just, I just think the guy, you know what? I shouldn't even say the guy's a jerk because I don't know him on a personal level. He may be a good guy, but he's a jerk to deal with.
Yeah, the deal.
He's a
We'll look
jerk.
at
Right.
I don't look at. I'm not putting up with his crap. Okay, I know this shit far better than him. All right, and he
Yeah,
could have
far
been
better than
far.
me as well.
He could have been far more professional. Okay, he doesn't like the fact that the vote, I think, against the mayor for this ethics thing didn't go his way. All right, that's what my personal opinion, and he's mad about it. So he thinks he's going to push me around. Nobody pushes me around, Sean.
Look at the end of
Okay.
the day, at the end of the day, I would say that you are smarter than all of us when it comes to this stuff because this is your forte.
Yeah, this I've been
And
doing this a long time.
yeah, and
So
so
so but you do look. I'm going to give you this. You do raise some very good questions, and I'll look into that. Okay, but even if they are a quasi board, okay, they get a lot of support from the city. And how hard is it for them seeing they put their agenda on the city website? How hard is it for them to simply put their minutes up there as well?
well,
He-
here's the
with
problem. They're the
whoever
ethics
does it.
board. They're
Yeah.
the ethics board for every employee in the city.
Yes.
So it isn't. So if you're trying to get like legal, and they probably are, and they probably it probably
Yep.
shouldn't be this way. See, like in the county, there's a county attorney,
Yeah.
okay, and he's the attorney for the county. He's supposed to represent the best interest of the county,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then each caucus has their own political attorneys, right?
Yeah.
In the city of Cohoes, you have a corporation council.
Yeah.
I think it would be inappropriate for the ethics board to be relying on any information from the corporation council because what happens if it has to go after the corporation council and he's
And you're
done
right.
something?
I agree with you on that
So
because
they
he's
should
not
have
independent.
right. So it's hard when you have small little ethics boards to try to be a real independent agency. They don't give you no
Yeah.
money. If you're going to have them, you should be saying, okay, the ethics board gets $30,000 a year. Up to 15 can be used for attorney. The other 15 is for equipment, phones,
Yeah.
whatever.
They're not funded. Killer won't even give these guys their own email address.
Right, and that's the last thing I want to say.
Yeah.
How can you have a independent ethics board when the mayor of the
Yeah.
city has control over the operations of their communications?
Yeah. And they're not
Every one of them.
funded.
So you have to send an email to a distribution email, I would assume, right? It's probably a city email,
Yeah.
and it gets distributed to all their personal emails.
Right. Well, any one of them should be able to open it up with a key code or passcode. So any one of them should have access. Sean, I sent them an email. I gave them the paperwork they were looking for, and to this point in time, right now, they have not opened that email. Okay. So I know it's sitting there. It's probably in their spam folder, but they have not got it. Okay. They have not opened that email yet.
Well,
Hey, I think we should.
I'm gonna leave with this, Timmy.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave with this. We bring you the message. Whether the fucking message comes out the way we do it, I have no idea.
Right.
I can only tell you this: Keeler is a squeal.
Yeah.
And a squeal like Keeler does things that you're not supposed to do. And for too long, he's been able to do them, and nobody's held him accountable.
And
If in fact this
Yep.
ethics board did hold him accountable,
Yep.
if in fact the information that we've been provided and that we provided to you becomes true, and in the next few days or weeks, there's a letter that goes out citing him for his violation, then I give a lot of credit to the members of that ethics board.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? A lot of people have been, when I told them, a few handful of people back channel, what I found out, they were shocked. They said, I can't believe the ethics board. They were stunned. And that's how
Well,
little confidence they have in our own ethics board.
now they should be looking into Steve Hennessy's ethics.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he's been let off the hook all the time too. I know he used city equipment for some of his private jobs, but Stanley Shuzda again won't let the ethics board hear it.
Well, hopefully somebody can look into Stanley Shest.
Yeah,
Let's look
he's
into this
unfit.
whole damn city because something's going on and the city's
Right.
falling apart. And there is the moron that's leading the
Yep.
race, Billy
Yep.
Keeler. And his sidekick is, hey, Trump has Elon Musk, Billy Keeler has Steve Hennessy. I mean,
Yeah, right.
so hey, everybody,
Alrighty.
thanks for watching Truth Lies Political Bullshit. We'll keep you informed as to whether or not King Keeler actually gets slapped on his wrist for doing what he wasn't supposed to do. And hey, if you got any tips, send them to ShawMorrisPodcast@gmail.com. Call Timmy, hit me up on Messenger, whatever. We'd love to have your tips. We'd love to share them with you. And until next Wednesday, Timmy, adios. Oh, hang on, before we go. Congratulations to Timmy on his wedding anniversary. Somebody actually married Timmy for 45 years. 45 years.
46.
This beautiful woman has been with this guy. That should be an ethics violation in itself. Right, Timmy? I love you. Congratulations. True. Tell your wife I say congratulations. You're a good man. You got a great family and got to run.
We'll see.